Hello everybody and welcome back to my garage Zero to Hero. Alright, so yes, things have actually happened very fast, and yeah, as you can see, we have basically packed up our old shop over here. So yeah, what happened was I was able to get this place sold, but obviously I didn't get all of my money back that I spent on it. So yeah, I managed to sell this place for an amount of 10,000. And we also got the house sold where we are currently still staying. So we still need to move out of the house. But that we also sold for a little bit less than what we bought it for. But at least we were able to afford Merle's property. That is actually where we are headed now. So everything else has been moved over there already. So we just need to take this last load of stuff back to the new shop. And then, yeah, we can start having a look at what other work we need to get done today. Although we still haven't settled in completely, there's still a couple of things to do in that regard. But yeah, I think we should be able to do a couple of things at least today. So here we go, let's be off.
Packed up my tools, left the old garage. Found a new home by the river's mirage. FUNCLE's repairs where dreams come alive. Under the big sky, we're gonna thrive. Dust on the road, a new chapter to start. Grease on my hands and hope in my heart. Fixing those engines like healing old scars. Out by the river, beneath the stars. Changes by the river, where the current's strong. In FUNCLE's repairs, you can't go wrong. Building a future with each...
Alright, and here we are at our new premises. So yes, I actually did quite a bit of work yesterday in moving everything over. So as you can see, we've got the BMW in the garage, as well as all of the old parts and stuff we had in our old shop. So we just need to remove this ramp from the garage because it's sort of blocking the way in. So let's just get this set down somewhere out of the way a bit. So I'm still looking around and seeing where I'm gonna extend this property, because apparently this whole concrete slab is open for us to expand on. So yeah, we are definitely into some good amount of real estate here. It's just going to be a matter of getting the funds to actually, expand and build a couple of extra things. So I've just temporarily put the lift over here. So yeah, it depends on how far we get today with all the work we need to do, because we still need to work on Sphartan's truck as well. We will see if we can start looking at the vehicles that we actually got with the property, because we've got the Impala as well. And we also have got this pickup truck over here, which has been a little bit in an accident on this corner. So we might have to have a look at these vehicles and see which one of them are actually running and what is the story with each one of them. So yes, Merle actually removed the wheels off this car and he did take it with him. But apparently this thing still runs. We just need to slap some wheels on it and then we'll be able to actually drive this thing. So I think a little bit of a restoration is in order for this car, just to get it looking a little bit better. So apparently this used to be Merle's old race car when he was into racing back in the day. So yeah, it's definitely seen some better days. As for the pickup truck and the Impala, that was just another vehicle that he got in recently. And yeah, apparently things just turned out that he had to move over to another town and he decided to sell everything. So yes, that is quite lucky for us that we were able to get this property and that we were able to make a plan to get all the money together. Although, yeah, I obviously negotiated a bit with Merle and got the price down a little bit. So yes, we are definitely moving up and moving forward and getting a little bit, more property and more value for our money at the end of the day, because I'm sure with all the extensions we are planning to do on this place, it'll be a little bit worth more money eventually. So yeah, first order of business is we actually need to head over to Hugo's. So I was thinking we could use our future daily truck, which is actually, this one over here. We had a little bit of an accident with it. So yeah, I'm not going to get into it too much, but yeah, I did rear end a another person driving on the roads. So yeah, somebody was just sort of taking a Sunday drive, and yeah, I didn't see it in time. And also the truck was quite heavily loaded, so the brakes weren't that great. So we might have to dig into the brakes of this truck soon and just see if everything is still fine. But luckily we didn't damage anything like the radiator or such. But yeah, we are definitely going to have to fix up this front end at some point. So we'll see what we have to do about that. But yeah, we are just going to offload our box truck a bit because it is quite packed, and I might actually need the ramp soon for a next project vehicle. So we don't know yet exactly what's going to happen. But yeah, let me quickly just offload everything and sort of put it in the shop, and yeah, just figure out where I'm going to put everything for now. Because yeah, we've got quite a bit of tools already. So let's just quickly go ahead and offload everything, and I'll bring you guys back up to speed once I have sorted this all out. Alright, there we go. So the truck is now officially empty. So we just need to find a spot for our engine stand over here. So let's see where we are going to put this thing. I've got no idea yet because, yeah, I didn't really plan any layout in the shop just yet. We just sort of offloaded everything, and I think the shelves will actually work quite well over there. So that is definitely a spot for the shelf. And we've got this little table over here then, the same table that came from Grandma's house. We actually had this built-in wooden table as well. So we are just going to utilize this as well for some parts and stuff eventually. But yes, I also made a quick phone call to Hugo, and yes, he is ready with the engines for us. So we've got to go and pick up an engine for Lacko's BMW E36, as well as the transmission for this car. And then we also need to go and fetch the engine for Sphartan's car from Hugo, or for Sphartan's rat rod. So we're going to go ahead and pick those up from Hugo's. And I'm almost certain the 2 boxes will fit in this truck of ours. So I think let's just jump into this pickup truck, and we're going to make our way over to Hugo's quickly. Let's just remember to close our garage. Alright, so here we go. Let's jump in and get this thing fired up and make our way over to Hugo's house quickly. Alright, and we are here at Hugo's, and yeah, I should probably just knock on the door and see where he is, because yeah, we are here to just collect the 2 engines. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly have a word with Hugo, and then I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, there we go. So I have spoken with Hugo a bit, and he actually agreed to let me pay a little bit later for the big engine that we've got in the back of our truck over here. I did pay him the 5,000 for the BMW engine as well as the gearbox, so that has been sorted out. But yeah, we owe him quite a bit of money for this big engine, and I told him that I currently have a vehicle in auction that is basically gonna sell very soon, within the next 24 hours or so. So yeah, do also go and check that out on the Gamers Edge Discord if you are interested in the Lada wagon off-road car that we have restored. In fact, that was Grandma's old car. So yeah, once we get that money from the auction, we'll be able to pay Hugo in full for the engine, because this engine is nothing less than $25,000 worth. So we are going to just install this engine into Sphartan's truck, and obviously Sphartan still needs to pay for the services and everything once we get his truck up and running for him. So let's head back to our shop and see if we can get these 2 engines installed into the BMW and also into the rat truck. Alright, and here we are back at our shop, or we could probably start calling this our home, because we are going to be living here very soon. So I don't think you guys ever saw the inside of Merle's cabin. So it is obviously empty now, and it's been cleaned out very nicely. So we're going to be trying to fit all of our furniture in here. I hope it's all going to fit. If not, we are going to have to sort of improvise, and yeah, maybe we can keep some of the furniture in the garage over here if we have to for some time. But yes, we are going to focus on getting the engine and gearbox in this BMW. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the Chevelle over here up onto some wheels first of all, because I would like to move it out of the way. So what I've done is, as I've offloaded the box truck, we have put the 4 wheels that I'm going to put on this car just around the car. So we are going to fit those wheels. We're going to see if we can move this Chevelle out of the way. And that way we are going to have access to our two-post lift. So I'm going to push the BMW all the way around and put it up on the two-post lift, because we need to mount the transmission, and yeah, getting to all those bolts are a little bit hard. So yeah, I think that is my plan of action here. So we are just going to grab ourselves a wrench, and we are going to grab ourselves a floor jack over here, and we're going to try and put the wheels on this Chevelle. It shouldn't be too hard, but we're going to try our best and see if we can get this sorted out. All right, so here goes nothing. We're going to just sort of slide it under the car, and let's just lift it up as high as we can go with it. Right, and we are just going to mount these wheels. I know the tires are absolutely shot on this, but once we start digging into this project a bit, we'll see what we're going to do with regards to tires, and maybe even keep these wheels on it, because I don't think we're going to do a whole lot of work to this car. We're just going to get it looking a little bit better and maybe send it down the road, maybe service the engine a bit and see what else we need to do. So yeah, that is my plan of action for this vehicle in particular. All right, so we just need to lift it up on this side as well. It's a little bit hard to see between all the grass here, but yeah, we'll manage. All right, so we've got these two wheels to do still, and let's just bolt it nice and snug, and let's grab the last one, and we'll just bolt it down just like that, and then we can get our jack out from under it. And yeah, according to Merle, this car actually still runs and drives, so we're gonna see about that in a moment. Let's just get our jack and our wrench out of the way. We can actually just leave it here for now. All right, so there we go. All right, so this is gonna be a moment of truth to see if this thing actually does fire up. So let's get into position, and there we go. It actually fired up quite easily, but I've got a feeling this thing is going to be very loud. The exhaust is super leaky. Alright, well, let's get it moved out of the way. Actually, it brakes, doesn't feel too bad either. Alright, I think over here should be good if we can just park it here by this wall. Right, I think that should do the trick. Let's quickly see if we can get our BMW pushed all the way over here to the two-post lift. It's going to be quite a little bit of heavy lifting, but I'm sure we will manage. And yes, I'm probably going to have to move the truck out of the way first of all. So let's go ahead and just do that quickly. Alright, and we've got the BMW up onto the two-post lift over here. So I think we're going to have to go quite high with this. So let's see. Yeah, I think that should be good. So let's grab our wrench first of all, and we are gonna grab the engine and just put that aside for the moment, because we need to get the transmission fitted first. So we could probably reach all of the bolts a bit easier now that the car is nice and high. So let's just crouch down under here. We're gonna just put it into position, and just be sure to get all of these bolts bolted down. I'm pretty sure these are a lot easier to come by if we have the car up in the air as well. The ones on the engine bell housing is as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to lower the car back down. All right, so let's bring it down all the way again. Just like that, and we're going to grab our engine over here. So let's put this engine block, or the whole complete engine actually for that matter, into the car. Just like that, and we are just going to bolt up the bolts that we can reach from up here. It's definitely going to be a bit tricky with all the bolts on the transmission to get all of them from the top, but we're going to get some of them hopefully from here. All right, and I think on this side we've got a couple of wires as well, if I'm not mistaken. We'll just investigate that properly. All right, so back here we do have got probably a ground cable. Let's just be sure to have a look at this right angle. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell, but there's a bolt over there, And there is a cable running over there. I'm not too sure if there's a bolt on it. We'll have to just check that out maybe from the bottom, because this is very compact actually. So let's pick it up once again. Alright, so that should be high enough. Now let's see what we've got under here. We've got a couple of gearbox bolts, and I can't seem to see any earth cable. There it is. Alright, so I found it. So we've got our ground cable. And another thing I didn't notice, is there a wire on the alternator? There it is. Okay, so we've got that bolt. Right, so there are no other transmission bolts that we need to bolt down over here that I can see. So I think we are basically good. Now what I would like to do is see if our exhaust system that we have from the inline 6 engine that came off the car is going to work on this engine. So let's go ahead and just grab it over here. Alright, so let's see if this might do the trick, or if we're going to have to order a new exhaust for this car. Alright, so it appears that we do not have the correct exhaust for the car. We're going to have to see if we can source the correct one then. But yes, I think the muffler will actually work on it. So we might have to get the muffler fitted to the new exhaust pipe. So it's not going to cost us a whole lot of money to get that at least. So that should be good. Alright, so I think what we can do now is we can lower this thing back down. And obviously we're going to have to put in some fluids before we try and fire this thing up. But there's also one more thing we can install, and I believe that will be the fuel line. So let's just come over here. We've got the fuel line that came off the car right over here. So we're going to try and get this fitted in the engine bay. I don't know how this is going to go on. So let's quickly have a look and see. Alright, so that goes in over there, and there's the smallest little bolt. I saw it just behind this brake line over there. Alright, so our fuel line is secure. Alright, so I think the only thing we need to do still is just fluids, oil and coolant. So yeah, I think we might have enough coolant kicking around the shop. So let's quickly have a look at that. And we do have got 2 bottles of oil. I'm not too sure if this is going to be enough. So let's grab both of these bottles of oil. And we'll just take all of the coolant as well, because I've heard we actually need to put quite a bit of coolant in this radiator. So let's go ahead and just see what we are going to be able to do with all the coolant and oil that we currently have. And I will see if it's going to be safe to fire this thing up with all these fluids installed. So we're going to start with our oil, and then we will do the radiator after that. Alright, so let me quickly top up all of these fluids. Alright, there we go. So I've put in the 2 bottles of oil, and it did take a little bit less than, yeah, almost 2 bottles of coolant. So yeah, we are basically safe to try and fire this thing up. So what we're going to do is we're going to just try and push this thing back slightly. And then, yeah, hopefully everything is good and this thing fires up once we turn the key. Unless if there's no gasoline in the tank, so I'm not too sure on that. So yeah, I guess we'll find out once we are able to open the doors. Let's just push it back a little bit. Alright, and we're just gonna hop in here, and yeah, the ignition key is a little bit hard to find. There it is. Okay, so let's see what happens. Alright, and it actually fired up quite easily. So let's just move it about a bit. Alright, it's definitely moving under its own power. So we did something right. And yes, obviously we don't have an exhaust on this thing, so it's probably going to be a little bit loud. Alright, well, I'm going to call that a win. So the BMW at least now moves under its own power. which is a good sign because it means we didn't do anything wrong. So I just obviously need to get 1 bottle of oil still and top up the oil a little bit more. And then, yeah, it's basically onto preparations for the paint work on this car. And then once the paint work is done, we'll do a little bit of work on the interior, maybe get some door cards on here and maybe some rear door panels. And then, yeah, this thing should actually be good to hit the road again. So I think what we can continue with next will be Sphartan's old rusty rat rod truck we want to build for him. So what I'm thinking, we should be able to get this engine out without a problem. Now we still need to get a new transmission and obviously do a little bit of servicing to a couple of suspension parts, but I think let's start with the engine because it's quite simple and it shouldn't take us too long to get this engine out. So let's just go ahead and do that. Right, so we're gonna just unbolt everything as you normally would, and we'll just get our fuel line out, and then yeah, I think the engine should come out. Let's just see what else we still need to unbolt over here. We've got a bolt over there, and this is probably going to come out with the exhausts just like that. All right, so this is the old crusty engine that we have. So we are just going to put this on the floor here for a second. So let's get these exhausts removed. So that one, yeah, it still looks fairly decent, but this one on this side is definitely too far gone. So yeah, we want to see if we can find some proper exhausts for this engine that we're going to be putting in the car. And this old engine, we can just pop it onto this engine stand for now. And then we will basically get the new engine from the back of our truck and just drop it in. And then obviously I'm going to have to go and get some oil and coolant for that truck then. But let's see first of all how this is going to fit and how everything's going to work. You might have to do a little bit of cutting in order for the blower to clear because we've got that hood support in the middle. So that is going to require us to cut it off. So let's get our angle grinder over here. Right, we still have a very small cutting disc on this. I don't know if it's going to be enough to cut off the weld that we need to cut off over here. So let's just see. Right, so it's that one over there. Alright, and there she goes. So we've got the hood mount off. So that is a good sign. So that isn't going to be putting up any fights with our hood scoop then. Alright, and then we are now officially ready to get this engine dropped down into this rat rod. So let's just unbolt it from this crate over here. We're just going to lift it up. And let's lower it into position. Just like that. Alright, and we need to lean in here and get to those bolts. It's a little bit hard with these tubings and pipes in the way, but we'll manage to get it all bolted down. So there we go, that is looking fairly decent. And over on this side we can also just bolt everything down. As I said, we still need to get a new transmission and we'll also get a new starter. So yeah, we definitely need to get some oil before we fire this thing up. So that is going to be probably, yeah, us going to the shop quickly, and we're going to pick up some more oil and obviously some more coolant as well, because we are kind of running out of coolant as well. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the old Chevelle over there, over to the gas station and pick up some oil. Luckily it's not too far, and yeah, I actually want to start getting to know this car a bit to see what it's going to need. What type of problems we have on the suspension. So yeah, let's take a little bit of a cruise with this old Chevelle and just see what it's all about. Alright, so we are here at the gas station, and yes, this old Chevelle actually pulls quite well. It's really not that bad, and I didn't expect it to actually run so well. I did notice we are very low on fuel, so let's quickly just fill up a little bit of gasoline in this rusty tank, just to ensure that we will be able to get back to our shop. And yeah, obviously then we're going to have a little bit of gas if we want to mess around with this thing a bit. Alright, I think that should cut it. So we've got about 30 liters of gas, so that should last quite a bit for this car. We're not going to be driving it every day. So yeah, let's just see. There we go. Alright, so that's the way it closes. Actually noticed we do have some cans of coolant back here. That one seems to still have something in. This one seems to be empty. Alright, well, let me grab some more coolant and oil, obviously. Alright, there we go. So we've got some oil and coolant, and we are ready to go back to the shop. And let's fire this thing up again. Alright, there we go. We've got a little bit of gas in the tank as well. Looks like the fuel gauge is working. Alright, so let's get back to the shop once again and see if we can fire up Sphartan's old rat rod and see what it sounds like without an exhaust. Alright, so back at the shop, and we are going to quickly top off all of the oil and also the coolant in this truck. And then, yeah, we're going to see if this thing actually wants to fire up. We still need to mount our fuel line as well, so we'll get into that a little bit later on after the fluids have been topped off. So let's quickly just sort this all out again. Alright, so we have topped off the oil and the coolant and everything checks out. So I think the last step would be actually to try and fire this thing up. So let's see if we can hop into here. It's a little bit tricky getting into this truck, but there we go. We're just gonna sit over here, turn the key, and it fired up right off the button, no problem. But it's obviously gonna be super loud. Yeah, it's definitely very loud. Alright, let's turn that off before we wake up people in the other city, or yeah, next door neighbors or something. So yeah, we have got most of the vehicles running today, at least. So we've got the BMW E36 up and running. We've got the Chevelle over here. That's definitely running and driving. And I'm almost certain Sphartan's truck will also run and drive just the way it is now. But we are going to do a couple more customizations to this thing. We're going to see about some wheels. We're going to sort out the suspension. So we might actually have a look around and see what parts are on that truck over there that we can maybe use on Sphartan's truck. But then again, I don't really want to do that, because then it just means we're going to have to buy parts for this truck then eventually to get it up and running as well. So yeah, that might not really be the best idea, but we'll see what we need to do. It all depends on money and how fast the money will come in. But yeah, I think we've done quite a bit actually. We still have a little bit of time, so I think let's maybe have a look at this Impala over here. So Merle actually called this thing the limp Impala because it's kind of limping apparently. So it is fitted with an inline-6 engine, which is very uncommon. It's not the best engine you would have for a big hunk of metal like this. But yeah, we're going to see if we can get this thing fired up and if it actually runs and drives, because Merle says he never really messed around with it. So what we're going to need now is basically our floor jack, which I left outside. So let's just come and grab this quickly, because the reason for this is the car is actually missing a wheel. I didn't really notice it because I just thought that the car was standing at an angle. So we're going to try and see if we can get a jack under this thing. It's very, very deep in the grass over here. And just try and lift it up. Alright, and we're just going to mount this wheel that we have. Alright, and let's just see if we can bolt it down quickly. Alright, let's zip all of these bolts down. There's probably going to be a ton of work to do to this thing. Alright, let's just put our wrench in the trailer over there for now. And let's just go down all the way again. Right, let's get this floor jack out from under the car. We'll just put it over here in the garage. And yeah, I think now it's going to be the moment of truth. Let's see if this thing actually wants to fire up or if there's something else wrong with it still. I think this is the ignition over there on the dashboard. Alright, well, what do you know? It actually turned over. Yeah, there's not really a way for us to get this thing out of here, but it seems to be moving under its own power. Alright, let's try something. See if we can go just over here. Just drive on the edge of this little grass patch. Just get it over here. Alright, because I really want to have a little bit of a closer look at this thing. See what we have to work with. Alright, so there we go. That's our Impala out of the woods. Or at least out of the grass. Alright, so it's definitely seen some better days. It's very dirty, very filthy. We do have an odd wheel on this corner, but in other words, this car doesn't look too bad. It's definitely, yeah, it needs a little bit of TLC, a couple of pieces of trim. Maybe a little bit of a paint job, or maybe just a proper wash will reveal the actual color of this car and see what it's all about. The engine doesn't look terrible, although it's definitely not new. It's got some good oil in it, and the radiator is a little bit low on coolant, but that's not too bad. And it actually does run and drive. Suspension, yeah, we'll have to dig into the suspension maybe a bit. But yeah, at least it does move under its own power somewhat. It definitely feels way underpowered, almost like our Ram truck was. And let's also quickly have a look at this pickup truck we've got in the back of the yard here, because I've got no idea if this thing even turns over. So let's first of all open the hood over here. Alright, so this has got a diesel conversion. So this looks like a stock diesel engine. Actually doesn't look too bad. It might actually need a little bit of TLC itself. Can't really tell, but it actually looks quite decent. There's no rusty parts that I can see just by looking at it straight off the bat. Alright, so let's quickly hop in and see if this thing actually fires up. Alright, let's see. Oh, we've got power and the glow plugs are working. Alright, well, would you look at that? This thing actually fires up. It does, however, have an automatic transmission in it, which is, yeah, quite interesting. Alright, but it looks like we are a little bit stuck. This thing doesn't want to move. We might have to haul this thing out with another vehicle. Maybe with our truck we can try and pull this thing out. Just see what's happening with it. But I did inspect it a little bit closer. I see all four of the tires are actually quite bad. This one is actually completely busted and the rim is bent. So we might have to get a new rim for that side. These tires on this side are also, yeah, they are also quite tired. And that one is also not looking too fresh. But luckily for us, we still have these off-road tires we took off the Lada wagon's wheels, which, yeah, obviously didn't fit the car very well. And I think it might actually work out and fit this truck quite well once we can get this thing off the grass over here. So yeah, I did notice there's a tow strap in the back of the Chevelle, which we might actually be able to use to get this thing out. But I think that is something that I'm going to probably do off camera. And yeah, we've done quite a bit of work today and yeah, sorted out our new premises. And I think we are definitely going to be here for a while. I actually feel very much at home, and yeah, once all my furniture and everything is moved over, we can basically call this our only property. So yes, I think that is going to be a wrap for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view, every like. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I will appreciate it very much. But yes, until the next time, cheerio.